Hello everyone. Today's our topic for practical is physical and microscopic examination of urine, one of the important investigation of pathology. So learning objectives are at the end of the session, students should be able to mention different methods of collection of urine and its preservation. Also, he should be able to enumerate various disease conditions associated with variations in total urine volume, color, appearance, odor, pH, and specific gravity, and able to describe urinary microscopic findings with reference to the cells, crystals, and cast in disease states. So, which are the indications for urine examination? Whenever there is a suspicion of renal diseases like glomerulonephritis, nephrotic syndrome, and pyelonephritis, also for the detection of urinary tract infection, detection and management of metabolic disorders like diabetes mellitus, differential diagnosis of jaundice, and diagnosis of pregnancy on the basis of detection of beta HCG hormone. Routine examination of urine will include 4 steps, that is collection and preservation of urine, physical or gross examination, chemical examination, and microscopic examination. Collection. According to time of collection, various terminologies have been given. Early morning sample or fasting sample, that is considered as best and mainly used for the qualitative estimation. Whenever there is quantitative assessment is required, 24-hour sample is used. Random sample is taken at any time of the day and it is used for the routine examination of urine. Postprandial sample, that is taken 2 hours after meal usually in the afternoon and mainly used in management of the diabetes mellitus. Early morning sample is first voided specimen in the morning and it is most concentrated and having acidic pH in which the form elements, that is cells and cast, are preserved, and it is considered best for routine examination, fasting glucose estimation, protein estimation, microscopic examination, bacteriological analysis, and for the pregnancy test. 24-hour urine sample. After getting up in the morning, the first urine is discarded. All urine voided subsequently during the rest of the day and night is collected in a large bottle, including the first urine voided on the next morning. And throughout the collection, urine is preserved at 4 to 6 degree temperature. 24-hour urine sample is used for quantitative estimation of proteins, for estimation of various hormones like vinyl-mandelic acid, 5-hydroxyindole acid, and metanephrines, for detection of acid-fast bacilli in urine whenever there is a suspicion of renal tuberculosis, and for detection of microalbuminuria whenever the diabetic nephropathy is suspected. Now various collection methods are available for urine collection, and among these midstream method, it is considered best for all examination. In midstream method, the first half of voided urine is flushed and second half will be collected in a clean container. The first half of the stream will flush out contaminating cells and microbes from urethra and perineum. Clean catch method is known where there is a perineum is washed with soap and water before collection and mainly used for bacterial culture examination. Catheter specimen usually to be avoided, but it can be useful whenever there is bacterial culture to be carried out in bedridden patient, ill patients, or patient with urinary tract obstruction. Also, in case of complete urinary tract obstruction or whenever there is a sterile condition is required, the suprapubic cystoscopic or uretary catheter specimen is being used, and in case of infants, the clean plastic bags is attached with genitalia. So here is a wide mouthed clean container used for the urine collection. In case of infant, the plastic bags are attached with genitalia, and this is the method of suprapubic aspiration, when the needle is directly inserted into the bladder and the sterile sample is being collected. Now there are certain changes occurring whenever we keep the urine at room temperature, and to avoid such changes, urine sample should be fresh and examined immediately, that is within 2 hours. Otherwise, there can be an increase in pH due to ammonia production. There can be disintegration of cast and cellular elements. There can be a formation of crystals due to precipitation of phosphates and calcium, which leads to the false positive results. Decrease in a glucose due to glycolysis and bacterial proliferation. So all such changes will hamper the results of urine examination, and to avoid such changes, there is a availability of preservation of urine sample. So various preservation methods are available, among which the refrigeration at 4 to 6 degree temperature is the best method, and by this method urine can be preserved up to 8 hours. There are other chemicals also being used like formalin, toluene, boric acid, thymol and hydrochloric acid, and by using this chemical we can preserve the urine sample. For routine analysis, no preservative should be added as it interferes with the reagent strip techniques. Physical examination. The physical examination of urine will include volume estimation, color, appearance, odor, reaction or urinary pH, and specific gravity. The quantity of urine passed in 24 hours varies inversely with amount of fluid that is eliminated by the lungs, skin and bowel. The urine volume is influenced by fluid intake, diet, that is high protein diet causes the diuresis or increase in urine output, exercise, environmental temperature, humidity, body weight and age. Normal urine volume is 600 to 2000 ml per 24 hour. Whenever there is a urine output more than 2 liter per 24 hour, the condition is known as polyuria. Whenever there is urine output less than 400 ml per 24 hour, the condition is known as oliguria. And whenever there is a complete cessation of urine output or merely a less than 200 ml urine output per 24 hour, the condition is known as anuria. Nocturia is the condition whenever there is a excretion of urine by an adult of more than 500 ml with a specific gravity of less than 1.018 at night, and this is characteristic of chronic glomerulonephritis. There are various causes of increase or decrease in urine output. Polyuria or increased output can be seen in conditions like diabetes mellitus insipidus, polycystic kidney disease, chronic renal failure, diuretics and IV saline or glucose administration. Decreased urine output or oliguria occurs whenever there is dehydration due to vomiting, diarrhea, excessive sweating. Also, there can be a renal ischemia in case of congestive cardiac failure, which leads to the oliguria. Oliguria also happens in case of acute tubular necrosis, whenever there is obstruction to the urinary tract, acute renal failure and acute glomerulonephritis. Anuria occurs in case of acute tubular necrosis, for example in shock, hemolytic blood transfusion reaction, or in case of acute glomerulonephritis and complete urinary tract obstructions. Color. The normal color of the urine is pale yellow or umber because of the presence of the urinary pigment, which are known as urochromes. Colorless urine will be found in case of dilution, diabetes mellitus, diabetes insipidus and diuretics. Deep yellow color urine will be found in case of concentrated urine or riboflavin usage. Red color urine will be present in case of hematuria, porphyria and physiological condition like beetroot ingestion. Milky urine will be present in case of purulent genitourinary tract infection and chyluria. Orange color urine will be present in fever, excessive sweating, and urobilinogen presence. Dark brown or black color urine will be found in case of alkaptonuria and presence of melanin. Brown color urine, that is hemoglobinuria, presence of free hemoglobin in urine. Yellow, green or green will be in presence of biliverdin, and bilirubin presence will give a deep yellow with a foam. These are the various colors of urine: light yellow, yellow, umber, red due to presence of hematuria, and brownish due to presence of hemoglobinuria. Appearance: freshly passed urine has a clear appearance. There are different causes for cloudiness or turbid urine, like amorphous phosphate, amorphous urates, pus cells, and bacteria. Amorphous urate will give a white or cloudy appearance on standing in alkaline urine, and it disappears on addition of drop of dilute acetic acid. Amorphous urates gives pink or cloudy appearance in acidic urine, and it dissolves on warming. Pus cells gives a varying grades of turbidity, and it can be diagnosed by doing a microscopic examination. Bacteria gives a uniformly cloudy appearance, and they do not settle after centrifugation, and it can be diagnosed with the help of microscopic examination as well as nitrite test. The urine appearance can be assessed by filling the test tube with urine and keeping it against the newspaper print. So this one is the clear sample of urine where we can see the newspaper print as well as we can read the letters. These two are the cloudy sample of urine where we can see the print but we are not able to read the letters, and whenever the newspaper print are not seen, neither we can see the print nor we can read the letters, the sample is known as turbid. Urine odor. Normally freshly voided urine has an aromatic odor due to volatile organic acids. Fruity odor will be present in case of ketoacidosis and starvation. Mousy or musty odor we can found in phenylketonuria. Fishy odor we will found in UTI, that is urinary tract infection with protease or tyrosinemia. Ammoniacal odor will found in UTI with E. coli or old standing urine. Foul smelling odor also present in case of certain urinary tract infections, and sulfurous odor will be found in case of cystinuria. Specific gravity. It is also known as relative mass density. This is the ratio of weight of 1 ml volume of urine to that of the weight of 1 ml of distilled water. It depends on the concentration of various particles and solutes in the urine. The normal specific gravity of urine is ranging from 1.003 to 1.030, and normal specific gravity of distilled water is 1. Specific gravity is used to measure the concentrating and diluting power of the kidneys. It can be measured by 3 methods. One is urinometer, another one is a refractometer, and dipstick or reagent strip methods. And for specific gravity assessment, usually 24-hour sample is preferred. Urinometer is a bulb-shaped instrument with cylindrical stem floated in a cylinder containing urine, and the depth to which it sinks in the urine indicates the specific gravity. It is based on the principle of buoyancy. A principle of buoyancy is an increased solute concentration or increased specific gravity increases the upthrust of the solution correspondingly. So, how to use this urinometer? To fill 2/3 of the cylindrical container with urine, allow the urinometer to float into the urine by gently spinning the stem of the urinometer. Take the reading from the graduation given on the stem at lower meniscus form, keeping it at eye level, and make sure that the stem of urinometer should not touch the side of the container. The correction of the temperature and albumin is must. Urinometer is calibrated at 15 or 20 degree. So for every 3 degree increase or decrease, we have to add or subtract 0.001, and for 1 gram per deciliter of albumin add 0.001. So here is the diagrammatic picture of urinometer with container for measuring specific gravity, urinometer with urine container, and stem should not touch the side of the test tube. Lower meniscus is considered for taking reading. Refractometer measures the refractive index of the urine. It requires only few drops of urine, useful in pediatric patients or in patients with urinary tract obstruction. Urine dipstick method are used. Chemical principle is cations reacts with the polymethyl vinyl ether or malic anhydride and will form the compound with release of hydrogen ions, and this hydrogen ion interacts with the bromothiamine blue indicator to form a color complex. Reading can be taken up to 2 minutes and reference range is 1.003 to 1.035. There are certain causes of hyperostenuria and hypoostenuria. High specific gravity or hyperostenuria are caused by diabetes mellitus due to presence of glycosuria, in case of nephrotic syndrome due to presence of proteinuria, and also in case of fever and dehydration. The low specific gravity of urine is found in case of diabetes insipidus, chronic renal failure, low and fixed at 1.010 specific gravity due to loss of concentrating ability and compulsive water drinking. Urine specific gravity, fixed specific gravity, that is isostenuria, whenever the specific gravity fixed at 1.010. The condition responsible are ADH deficiency and chronic nephritis. And it is seen in chronic renal disease when kidney has lost the ability to concentrate or dilute. pH and reaction. Normal urine pH is 4.6 to 8, average is 6, that is slightly acidic, and pH depends on the diet, acid-base balance, water balance, and renal tubular function. On keeping urine at room temperature, there is loss of carbon dioxide and there is production of ammonia from urea, and this results into urine becoming alkaline. So for correct estimation of urine pH, fresh urine should be examined. Method for pH determinations are litmus paper test, like red turns to blue in case of alkaline urine and blue turn out to red in case of acidic urine. Urine dipstick method, reagent strips and comparator box are being provided. The chemical principle is the test area contains the polychromatic polymer bound to hydrogen ion or cations. On reaction with cations in urine, the H plus ions is released, causing change in color of the pH sensitive dyes. Reading can be taken up to 2 minutes and reference ranges are 4.5 to 8. pH meter is also used. Electrode of the pH meter dip in urine and pH is read off directly from digital display, and exact pH can be measured by using this pH meter. Uses of urinary pH estimations are: reaction reflects the ability of kidney to maintain normal hydrogen ion concentration in plasma and extracellular fluid. Also, it helpful in identification of crystals. pH alteration useful in treatment of renal calculi, and in unexplained metabolic acidosis helpful in diagnosing the renal tubular acidosis. Acidic urine can be found in case of ketosis, as it is occurring in case of diabetes, starvation or fever, systemic acidosis, urinary tract infection with E. coli, and acidification therapy. Alkaline urine can be found in case of strict vegetarian, systemic alkalosis, urinary tract infection with Proteus, and alkalization therapy. Microscopic examination. It is also known as liquid biopsy of urinary tract. The microscopic urinalysis is done simply pouring the urine sample into a test tube and centrifuging it, spinning it down in a machine for 10 minutes at 1500 rotation per minute. The top liquid part, the supernatant, is discarded. The solid part left in the bottom of the test tube, the urine sediment, is mixed with the remaining drop of urine in the test tube, and one drop is analyzed under a microscope by covering it covering it with a cover slip. Normal contents of urine on microscopic are RBCs usually absent or 0 to 2 per high power field, WBC 0 to 2 per high power field, cast occasionally found that are hyaline type, crystals are only few, and epithelial cells usually 2 to 5 per high power field, and usually they are superficial epithelial cells only. So diagrammatic picture where we can see the test tube is filled with urine. After centrifugation, the sediment is being formed at the bottom and supernatant is discarded, and from sediment the one drop is taken onto the glass slide, covered it with cover slip, and weight examination is carried out for microscopic examination of urine. The various cells which we can found, red blood cells, they are normally absent, they are disc-shaped and they become, so they are the RBCs, smooth margin, and whenever there is a old sample, little bit crenated RBCs we can found. WBCs or pus cells, normally 0 to 2 pus cells per high power field is considered normal. Whenever there is a more than 10 pus cells are present per high power field, or there is a clumps of WBCs, we can suspect the urinary tract infection. These are the rounded cells with granular surface. Increased WBCs we can found in fever, pyelonephritis, lower urinary tract infection, tubulointerstitial nephritis, and renal transplant rejection. Epithelial cell, these are hexagonal cells, superficial squamous epithelial cells, normally 2 to 5 cells per high power field are considered normal. Increased number of squamous epithelial cell will be found whenever there is contamination with vaginal fluid. Transitional epithelial cells are little bit smaller than superficial cell and they have a little bit larger nucleus. Increased number of epithelial cell we can found after catheterization or in case of transitional cell carcinoma. Tubular epithelial cell are the smaller one with a higher nuclear-NC ratio, and it can be found whenever there is a tubular damage, for example acute tubular necrosis, pyelonephritis, or viral infection of the kidney in case of children. Cast, they are precipitates of proteins secreted by tubules. These are cylindrical cigar-shaped microscopic structures that form in the distal renal tubules and collecting ducts. Only elements in urine sediment that are specifically of renal origin, and they form via precipitation of TAM-Horsfall mucoprotein which is secreted by renal tubular cells. Various types of cast are acellular cast and cellular cast. Cellular cast are red cell, white cell, and epithelial cell cast, and acellular cast are hyaline, granular, waxy, fatty, pigment, and crystal cast. Hyaline cast are the most common type of cast. Hyaline cast are solidified TAM-Horsfall mucoprotein which are secreted from the tubular epithelial cells, and they are seen in fever, strainer exercises, damage to the glomerular capillaries. So these are the cylindrical, transparent cast, homogeneous, colorless, transparent, and refractile. Granular cast are indicative of chronic renal disease. They are found in case of fever, acute glomerulonephritis, and pyelonephritis. They are coarse, having coarse or fine granule representing the degenerating tubular epithelial cell debris. Waxy cast. These are the waxy cast. They are formed when hyaline cast remains in a renal tubules for a long time, and which suggests the prolonged stasis of the urine, and it also represents a severe long-standing kidney disease seen in end-stage renal failure. These are homogeneous, smooth, glassy appearance with crack or serrated margins and irregular broken off ends. Fatty cast and fat bodies, they are formed by the breakdown of lipid-rich epithelial cells, and these are hyaline cast with flat globule inclusions and seen in nephrotic syndrome, diabetes or lupus nephropathy, and acute tubular necrosis. Fatty cast and fat bodies are cylindrical structures filled with highly refractile fat globules. Broad cast, These are forms in dilated distal tubules and seen in case of chronic renal failure and severe renal tubular obstruction. So both waxy and broad cast are suggestive of poor prognosis. Red cell cast, the presence of red blood cells within the cast is always pathologic and is strongly indicative of glomerular damage. They are usually associated with nephritic syndrome. Red blood cell with the red blood cell inclusion on the highline cast. White cell cast, whenever there is a presence of pus cells on cast indicative of inflammation or infection, pyelonephritis, acute allergic interstitial nephritis, nephrotic syndrome, or post-streptococcal acute glomerulonephritis. Renal tubular epithelial cell cast. This cast is formed by inclusion or addition of desquamated epithelial cells of the tubular lining, and this can be seen in acute tubular necrosis and toxic ingestion such as from mercury, diethylene glycol, or salicylate. These are the renal tubular epithelial cell cast. So, microscopic examination of cast to conclude: erythrocyte cast usually indicative of glomerular disease, leukocyte cast or pus cell cast indicative of pyuria or glomerular disease, degenerating cast like granular and hyaline cast are non-specific, waxy and fatty cast suggest the long-standing disease, fatty cast suggests nephrotic syndrome. Crystals are refractile structures with definite geometric shape due to orderly 3D arrangement of its atoms and molecules. Crystals are identified in urine by their morphology. Two main types of crystals are there: normal and abnormal crystals. Normal crystals again divided into their presence in acidic urine or with presence of alkaline urine. Acidic urine crystals are calcium oxalate, uric acid, and amorphous urate. Alkaline crystals are phosphate, calcium carbonate, and ammonium urate. Calcium oxalate crystals are colorless, refractile, and envelope shape. Increased number of calcium oxalate crystal can be found whenever there is oxalate stones, ethylene glycol poisoning, tomatoes, cabbage, and spinach ingestion. So these are calcium oxalate crystals. Uric acid crystals increase in gout and leukemia, variable shape, diamond, rosettes, plates, yellow, red, brown due to urinary pigment. Amorphous urates are yellow fine granules in compact masses, and these are the urate salts of potassium, magnesium, or calcium. Phosphates. The triple phosphate or ammonium magnesium phosphate crystals are colorless, shiny, 3 to 6 sided prism with oblique surface at ends, that is coffin lids appearance or feathery fern like appearance. Ammonium biurate crystals are cactus like, covered with spines, or thorn apple crystals. Abnormal crystals includes cysteine, cholesterol, bilirubin, leucine, tyrosine, and sulfonamide crystals. Cysteine crystals are colorless, clear, hexagonal with having 6 sides and very refractile, and they are found in cystinuria, one kind of inborn error of metabolism. Cholesterol crystals are colorless, refractile, flat, rectangular plates with notch or missing corners and appear stacked in stair-step arrangement. It can be found in lipiduria, for example, nephrotic syndrome or hypercholesterolemia. Bilirubin crystals are small brown crystals of square, bead-like, fine needle shape, and they are found in severe obstructive liver disease. Leucine crystals, these are refractile yellow-brown spheres with radial or concentric striations, and they are present with tyrosine in severe liver disease like cirrhosis. Tyrosine crystals are clusters of fine, delicate, colorless or yellow needles and can be found in severe liver disease and tyrosinemia. Sulfonamide crystals are having variable shape, usually found in form of sieves of needles, and they are found following sulfonamide therapy. Various organisms can also be found in urine examination like bacteria, yeast, Candida, Trichomonas, eggs of Schistosoma hematobium, and microfilaria. Yeast are found in immunocompromised person, vaginal candidiasis, and in patient with diabetes mellitus. Trichomonas vaginalis, these are Motile organism pear-shaped with undulating membrane on one side with 4 flagellates. Vaginitis in females, and these are contaminants in urine. Whenever there is vaginitis in female, it can be found in urine. And eggs of Schistosoma hematobium can also be found during urine examination. Microfilaria seen in case of chyluria due to rupture of urogenital lymphatic vessels. Cytological examination will include different staining of urine with like PEP stain, right stain, immunoperoxidase or immunofluorescence stains. So these are the malignant transitional cells which we can found in patient of transitional cell carcinoma. So various abnormal finding during microscopic examination we found are whenever there is more than 2 erythrocytes or more than 5 leukocytes, more than 2 renal tubule cells or more than 10 bacteria per power fill. During low power fill, more than 3 hyaline cast or more than 1 granular cast, or whenever there is more than 10 squamous cell which indicates the contaminated specimen, or any other cast, RBCs or WBC cast are always pathologic, and where presence of any fungal hyphae or yeast, parasite, viral inclusions, pathological crystals like cysteine, leucine, tyrosine, and large number of uric acid or calcium oxalate crystals all are considered as abnormal findings. And in next session we will discuss about the chemical examination of urine. Thank you.